Peter Thiel said electrical engineers would change the world. John Carmack said that AGI doesn't need expensive hardware but efficient code. Now, DeepSeek's founder, an electrical engineer turned quant trader, proved both of them right. Let's look into it, how it happened. First article we have from MIT Technology Review is how a top Chinese AI model overcame US sanctions. Now the next part is going to be very important. Remember how we just said that Peter Thiel said that electrical engineers would change the world. DeepSeek remains relatively unknown. Based in Hangzhou, China, it was founded in July 2023 by Liang Wenfeng, an alumnus of Zhejiang University with a background in information and electronic engineering. So we see first thing that Peter Thiel said already vindicated. Now let's take a look into what legendary programmer John Carmack said on the Lex Fridman podcast. For those who do not know, he was a pioneer in early computer games, and later in his career, he also became a pioneer in VR.
Madman for saying that it is likely that the code for artificial general intelligence is going to be tens of thousands of lines of code, not millions of lines of code. This is code that conceivably one individual could write. I think there's less than 6 key insights that need to be made. Each one of them can probably be written on the back of an envelope.
So remember, John Carmack, as a lot of you will know, he's not just a nobody, he's one of the most legendary programmers of all time. He says that AI could be written by a single person just in a bunch of lines of code, which is very interesting, given that DeepSeek, while not written by a single person, was done on a shoestring budget by just a small group. We're back at the MIT Technology Review article. Let's take a look at what Zihan Wang, a former DeepSeek employee, says. We, most Chinese companies, have to consume twice the computing power to achieve the same results. Combined with data efficiency gaps, this could mean needing up to 4 times more computing power. Our goal is to continuously close these gaps. Now, why does this ex-DeepSeek employee say that? As we covered in our Wit and thread yesterday, Washington imposed huge sanctions on China when it comes to American computer chips. So the Chinese companies had to find lots of ways to make efficient programs that are way more efficient than Western programs. And that's kind of a way Washington shot itself in the knee. Because by imposing those sanctions on China, inadvertently, they made their programs much more efficient than their own. And we can see that thesis confirmed in the same MIT article. Let's take a look here. The US export control has essentially backed Chinese companies into a corner where they have to be far more efficient with their limited computing resources, says Matt Sheehan, an AI researcher at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. And here comes the kicker. As a lot of you people and Anons on the internet have noticed yesterday, Alibaba, the Amazon of China, already announced their own AI that rivals DeepSeek. Let's take a look here. That might already have started to happen. 2 weeks ago, Alibaba Cloud announced that it has partnered with the Beijing-based startup O1.ai, founded by Kai-Fu Lee, to merge research teams and establish an industrial large model laboratory. So we can see, no matter what the West tries, in the end, we may have accelerated the speed of Chinese development. Now let's get back to Peter Thiel and let's look what he has to say about computer science and electrical engineering.
And computer science was in the same category as social science or political science. It was a fake field for people who found electrical engineering or math way too hard.
Now that was a pretty rough swing at computer science by Peter Thiel. Let's take a look into why he says that. We have another MIT Technology Review article. This one's a bit older, from 2014, by Tom Simonite. And it's called Technology Stalled in 1970. We can see Peter Thiel's sentiment already there. Of course, we don't have to take his harsh criticisms to heart. I'm a big fan of computer science myself. But it is interesting that Liang Wenfeng, the founder of DeepSeek, is an electrical engineer. So one of the fields that, according to Peter Thiel, has been neglected in the West. And that it took a Liang Wenfeng, an electronical engineer, and a small team to revolutionize the AI world. I think that's pretty significant, and we shouldn't dismiss what Peter Thiel says. So the journalist asks him, the Founders Fund slogan takes a swipe at Twitter. We wanted flying cars, instead we got 140 characters. Haven't things like iPhones and online social networks improved our quality of life? Then Thiel replies, some, just not enough. That line is not meant to be a critique of Twitter as a business. I think the company will eventually become profitable. Take note, Elon Musk, on that point. The 2,000 people, he didn't say that thing about Elon Musk, but I'm saying take note, Elon. The 2,000 people who work there will be gainfully employed for decades to come. Even though it improves our lives in certain ways, it is not enough to take our civilization to the next level. Here we can see that critique of Thiel again. We have made all these what seems as progress in the world of bits, in this virtual world, but real scientific technological progress has stagnated a lot. We think that every day thousands of apps get released, thousands of websites get released, but in the end, where is the real graspable evolution? Liang Wenfeng, the CEO of DeepSeek, made DeepSeek on a shoestring budget with a small team of researchers and made it the most efficient AI LLM system that we know of by now, which proves Carmack's thesis about just not a lot of lines of code, small amount of people. He says one person, but small amount of people can write AGI when it will come in the future. And it also proves Peter Thiel's thesis that those engineering fields we neglected in the West, like electrical engineering, are worth a look at, because after all, the one who made the biggest revolution right now in the AI field is an electrical engineer, and he, as we can see, applied those insights into the model. I would say if you're in IT, if you're in computer science, get into low-level engineering, get this book on the C programming language. Also get this one, Computer Systems, a Programmer's Perspective. Really teaches you a lot about the hardware. Also make sure to follow Seven Etsu, who is the founder of Tetsu.ai on Twitter. He taught me personally a lot about C. Definitely the wave of the future if you want to be competitive in the computer and the AI field, or just as a hobby. And yeah, enjoy life.